As we begin this recording, I just want it to be known what my intention was. I myself have suffered from identity crises. Who am I? Who am I? What the heck am I doing? And what is the purpose of this show? What's the spirit of the show? What's the intention of the show? Well, the spirit is always allowing, loving, kind, including, and all that, but what's the intention of the show? Is it a popularity contest? Or is it a scholarly work? I actually want to put forth that my intention here is really scholarly work. And if a bystander happens to peer in to what I'm doing over here, then so be it. That's wonderful, and I am grateful, and hopefully you will be grateful too from what you discover when you go to look at what I have been trying to say. I'm quite serious about it, and I mean to be quite rigorous about it too, although it's hard to be rigorous in a way because what is my field? My field is everything. What am I looking at? Source energy. What the hell is that? Well, that's an interesting question. And then when I turn to the math and the physics, I turn to it in a place that the mainstream has not yet realized how correct he is about the nature of this universe, ergo, the nature of source energy and gravity, and how those understandings, when applied to our physical experience, i.e., technologies and material products that reflect this new understanding, our world is going to change. And it's going to change quite seriously. Now, I declared a few years ago that what my intention was, as I tried to focus in this new way, is it was my intention to be a visionary. I wanted to be a visionary. So, okay, now I'm sitting in a place where actually it's quite a bit more easy to see certain larger frames that we are in. And although I understand everybody focusing on their very immediate frame, and quite truthfully, it is possible to do that. You can do a pretty good job of your life by just feeling your way through. But I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about... Oh, well, what am I talking about? I'm talking about our nature. I'm talking about our physical nature. I'm talking about our spiritual nature, our psychological nature, our collective nature, our individual nature, our eternal nature, our expirational nature, and how on earth am I going to bring all of that together? Because it sounded like I just said everything. How do you bring all of that together? So, in a way, my specialty is that I am a general. And in my specialty, it is my specialty to pull back all of the pieces that we have collectively thrown out there, pull them into one place and add them all together. So go back to all the sciences and add them all together and then come to a place, it's like a new place. Every one of the sciences is so freaking dialed into this highly specific focus that people aren't looking at the meaning of anything anymore. They're not pulling back and recognizing that every one of the sciences is looking at a highly specialized aspect of one thing, that you can add them all back together. And where do you do it? You do it inside yourself. You integrate yourself. There's a really, really interesting thing that we can do. Now, you're going to look at me and go, why would I want to do that? Who are you? Who are you? What have you done? Well, how are you any kind of example of, this thing that why should I do this? It's because, wow, when you look at it from this added up perspective, you recognize the potential. The potential is just so amazing, and every problem that we have actually melts away. There is no problem that we have that we cannot fix from this perspective. And it's breathtaking. So, what is this perspective? There is an energy field that, I'm going to use a bunch of words. It does you could say it this way. It glues us all together. I usually use the word matrix. It matrixes us. I use it like a verb instead of like a noun. Although it is a divine matrix that we are embedded in, that we are made of, that we are flowing with, that we are one with. And I find it a bit gratifying when I listen to Nassim Haramein and I realize what he's talking about, this feed-forward, feedback loop that every one of us is intimately engaged in our own individual self, and stewing in whatever we are projecting out to the field. Every one of us is doing that. And then the field is picking up on all the parts, and anything that it picks up from the outside, from the little peripheral parts. You're a peripheral, appendage. I am too. We all are. Everything is. And yet, it's all harnessed into the very center of it. And when you come into alignment with the field, the payback is really interesting. We'll talk about that and other things. What do I do? What am I doing? Well, I have come over the past, it's been a couple of years since I started this now. Actually, I see that the whole thing, my whole life has been a continuum of me coming to this point of realization. But over the last few years, it's gotten more, the specificity of it has become more pronounced. This project of learning how to give my pure, positive inner voice a platform, learn how to forget about my material specifics and stand in a place where I know what she knows, and I talk about things regardless of whether I see them out there in the physical world yet with my eyes or not. Where I do feel them is in my consciousness. It's something I've learned to do my whole life. When I read a book, I immediately, my consciousness connected to the realization that there was a spirit out there who had said that, who had said the things I read in this book. So wherever their mind, had been, they wrote it down in this book, and I could see that it reflected a human being. And so as I looked at a library full of books, maybe on this certain topic, I would look at it and I would know that I was looking at human beings and thought forms and consciousness. And so I didn't have to ask whether there was anybody out, and where are they? Anybody who sees the same things that I can. Is there anybody out there? Well, I can't see you, so you must not be there, because all I am, if I have read you in a book, if I have felt your thought, caress my consciousness, I know you're out there. And so I feel the fullness of all of the people around me. There's jillions of them. Can't you feel them? Billions, actually, as it turns out. Maybe more, because there's more than just the 8 billion that are alive today. There's all the ones who have come before, who have, a lot of the consciousness that it's recycling. We're not as separate as you think we are. Although you have a center of spin that you have control over, and you can make it as separate as you want, you can hold on to it, you can maintain the integrity of your particular spin. But who we all really are is an awareness of the whole thing. an awareness of all that is, an awareness of the structure as it is unfolding, and then the actual specificity of all that structure. The awareness of it, the isness of it, the energy and frequency of it, that's what that's what we all are. And we aren't as separate as you think we are. But it doesn't matter, because in a really special way, you're incredibly separate. In a good, positive way, you are separate. In all of the good ways to be connected, you are connected. And in all the good ways to be separate, you are separate. And that's really all you need to focus on. And do you need to intellectually focus on the dark possibility of it being other than that, and then sweep yourself away in terror and drama? Do you need to do that? Well, some people need to do that. If you need to do that, you may be excused to go do that. But frankly, it is my intellectual work to chase down what is, with a capital I, and not worry at all about the is not. And what, so that's what we're talking about. Who am I? Who am I, and how does this work? And so, the good way that I am connected to everything is that the whole thing is holographic, and the whole universe is with you at all times. All of the frequencies of all of the universe, where the matter is and how it is moving, how it is changing, cooling or heating or swirling to the right or swirling to the left, or all of the way that the atoms and the molecules and the protons and all of it, all across the whole physical universe is known, and every Planck nanosecond it is being updated. So it's not just known in a tome somewhere that you can, go into a pyramid and read about it and that's what it is. No, it's updated every now. It's a living, breathing thing that is in touch with itself. The universe is alive, and it is alive through you. And you are an individual cell in this magnificent, magnificent universe. You are. And as such, you are free to move about the universe, however the spirit moves you. Just like all of your cells. Your cells are moving. They may be tracking in some pretty serious, harmonious patterns. But as they are doing it, each individual cell is doing it voluntarily. They are not doing it. No one is forcing them to hand off nutrients to their neighbor's cell and then go grab some more from their one to the left and hand it to the one to the right, and grab some from to the left and hand it to the right. Nobody's forcing them to do that. They are doing it willingly and joyfully, and they are feeling the pulse of Source coursing through them as they do it, and there is joy, joy, joy. Everywhere there is joy. And I want this body of work that I do in this Who Am I show, as we discuss source energy, it's not a popularity contest, and sometimes it's hard to remember that when I'm putting it up on an internet that, people are gonna grab onto it or not. Now, I honestly, shame on me, I should do something more with the titles if I actually want anybody to find me. But I trust the algorithm of the universe. There aren't going to be a lot of people that need to see my work. But who I want to organize with at some point down the road needs to see this, and needs to see it as a serious reflection of what I'm capable of doing, what I am capable of envisioning, because I got a handle on this pure positive. I've got a grip. My physical thinking mind has started to get a toehold into the field of pure positive riffing, pure positive recognition, shining the light in the direction of every single thing that has ever happened to me, us, all of mankind, or anything in the universe is all working out for me somehow. It is all, things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And it doesn't matter. Even if the volcano just erupted down the lane, it doesn't matter. Still, the mantra holds because the field is expanding. All of us are growing. We are becoming more because the universe is learning, because that's the way the structure is designed. It's designed to pick up all the information coming to it from all the, you call yourself like flagella, feelers to the world, that the universe is feeling the world, and you are its eyes, you are its fingertips. You are shining a light of perspective on your corner of the grid. You are the one doing it. And how you are interpreting what it is you are seeing and then feeding back into the field. And it's picking it up. Eventually, it will cycle out from you into the greater whole. The more in alignment what you say and see and interpret is with what the field is actually doing, the quicker it will flow into the rest of the field. I believe that is true. And it's sort of a safety valve. If you aren't in alignment, you don't get through. There's things that kind of hold you in your particular local sludge. But if you're in the flow of the juices of the universe and you're in harmony and alignment with its desires, with its goals, what are its desires? What are its goals? More. And more what? Freedom, clarity, beauty, joy, fun, efficiency, abundance. That's what the field wants more of. More understanding, more all of those things. There aren't a bunch more. I could go back and say the same ones. More beauty, more freedom, more joy, more abundance, more clarity, more feelings of, you want the feelings of all those good feelings. Safety, cozy, I don't know. All of those things. Pure positive feeling. That's what the field is, and it's what it wants. And it finds it all the time. The whole thing is made of love. We are all love in a mysterious, cool way. And love is also the same force you're feeling that's also gravity. Also, it turns out to be the actual forces at the center of the atom. The strong force, the weak force, the electromagnetic fields, and the Coriolis forces. Is that the other one? The spin going in, the spin coming out, and the strong force and the weak force. And they're all one thing. It is this field spinning. And what is it a field of? Plonks. What in the devil is a plonk, you say? It's a vacuum oscillator, a vacuum fluctuation. And physics knows about this. Mainstream physics knows about this. Max Planck is the one who came up with the Planck, and it's the thing that quantizes the quantum. It quantizes the quantum. That's what a Planck is. It's the eeny-meeniest, most teeny-weeny frequency. But the secret to this structure that we are all part of, embedded in, working with, It's all spinning and we are spinning with it. It is expanding and we are expanding with it. And it's funny because, I want to be part of me sort of seems to want to be like a math teacher, and get up in front of people and explain to them something as dry and as absolute as mathematics and show them the formulas. Look at this formula. And I'm excited about my field because I believe that God was a mathematician and I can see the equations everywhere and how they are adding up backwards and forwards and upside down, commutative and reciprocal, and all the ways inside and out that they, you know, relate to one another. I can see that as a mathematician, and I'm trying to relate to you, my students, but I'm still talking about mathematics, something that we're not really going to argue about. Part of me feels that way about this field, but then you find yourself in an arena where you almost have to feel like you're on the pulpit of a of a clergyman's pulpit of some sort, where you're preaching to people about the life and the love and the beauty within themselves, and how this structure really works, and how you really are an extension of source energy. What is source energy? Think of it as space-time. Think of it as the Planck field. You are an extension of the Planck field. But what is this Planck field doing? It is exchanging information back and forth with the rest of the field with absolute exactitude is the word that's coming to me, but that's not the really a word anybody uses. Precision, no error whatsoever. What is that word? Anyway, that's what it's doing. The exactness of what all of the Plancks that make up my body, what they are doing, is being passed back up to the wholeness that I am, because I am more than just myself. I really am more than just myself. Just go try to be just yourself and find how successful or not you are. Just imagine that you are absolutely alone in this universe with no one around to help or think about me or care about anything. I am just alone, and the universe is completely other than me. I know that there's a lot of people who live their lives that way, and it doesn't work very well. You find that you feel lonely. You feel a lot of emotions that you're really not and the way you feel is the most important thing about your whole life. And the reason it is because the way you feel tells you and the rest of the world whether or not you are taking clear impulses from source or twisted backwards impulses from source. And I'll tell you that they are 180 degrees different from one another. So if you are in a state of negative emotion, the whole universe knows what you're doing. You are going backwards now. And all of your impulses are not to be trusted. All the animal kingdom knows this. That's how come when someone is twisted seriously backwards to themselves, your dog does not like them. Now, that does not make you a bad person. It just means that your impulses are not to be trusted. Your thinking mind is not to be trusted. And you are, in some manner, and being an agent of chaos to the world around you. Now, the answer is not to be hyper aware all of a sudden of who is in chaos around you and be afraid of them. Actually, the answer is always the same thing. It is get into deeper and deeper alignment with who you really are. And from that position, you will know exactly how to deal with them. And because the object of the exercise is not to ostracize them, punish them, show them their evil ways so that they feel really bad about themselves. That's not the object of the exercise. The object of the exercise is to realign the field. And so to bring them back into harmonious alignment with who they are instead of the hideous, destructive misalignment that they are being. Do you hear the difference in this? Do you hear the difference in the objective? You know, when the hit, like for instance, Winston Churchill's objective was to stick it to those effing Nazis because they were so hideously wrong. And I can get that. I get that. I do sympathize. I even empathize with that position. But academically, from this perspective that I deal with every morning, this who am I perspective, that is not good enough. And it will only bring us to another Second World War with, as Churchill, scan the horizon for that evil force out there that I will pit myself against and defeat ultimately. Batman has the same problem as he scans the field for the Joker, the Riddler. There's a never, the Goblin. There is no end to the villains he will find taking that position. But that is actually not the position we're ultimately looking for. Now, if you're deeply, deeply, deeply entrenched in the material specifics of day-to-day mucking around with your fellow human beings, you may think that my approach is impractical. You're going to say, of course there is an us and them, and of course there are bad people, and those bad people must be punished. Well, I don't know what to say to you, because when you step back into a larger frame and you realize what's really going on, A, and B, what's really going to fix it in a deliciously, satisfyingly, abundance creating, joyful making way, then I can't even listen to people who, want me to face reality. Screw that. I want to tune into this vibrational reality that I can feel coming. I hear the voices. I have heard the consciousnesses. There's people out there, you click into the internet, with the right train of intention going, and you will find so many snatches of wisdom. Now, if you dial into the whole person, perhaps, who has said, like if you dialed into my whole person, you might listen to my words and you're like, oh yeah, I can hear what she's saying. You dial into my whole person, you will find that I am a mixed bag. There are things that I do really well. There are things that I have established, or points of order that I have established in my own life that I am very proud of. But there are other things that if you look at, that I don't make much of a splash in the material world in certain arenas, But on the other hand, that's not how I interpret myself or the meaning of, why I don't have a 4-year degree or even a doctorate or 5 doctorates because I'm so smart. The fact is the fact that I am not any of those things in some ways, to me, speaks louder to my actual point. My actual point is that if we would understand our design, the design of the universe around us, and the design of our own biomechanics, you could say, our own biotechnology, how to run my vehicle from inside of myself, how to understand the world from the cockpit of my machine, talking to you in the cockpit of your machine, who you really are. And are you operating it correctly? If you're banging around in negative, all caught up in imaginary shit that, it's sort of like the 5 kleshas of Buddhist philosophy, considered to be the root causes of all evil. No, not all evil, all suffering. The root causes of all suffering, and evil is a cause of suffering. The fact that we don't understand who we are. Well, let's go look at the 5 kleshas. I have them on a slide because I find them interesting. You need to understand how to run your own bioequipment and what the meaning of your positive and negative emotions are. Otherwise, you're identifying with the wrong part of yourself. You're looking out at others and you're identifying their wrong part. You're identifying them with what they're doing instead of realizing who they are inside, and what they're doing on the outside is an indication that they're confused or in alignment with who they're. It depends on how they're acting. Are they in negative emotion? They're confused. And so don't hold it against them. Don't pillory them. Don't guillotine them. Bring them back into the fold. That's the object of the exercise. The object of the exercise is not to eliminate all of those who are wrong, but rather to help them find their realignment. Let's see. I should just remember the kleshas. I have them. See, I have too many background slides over in OBS. It takes me too long to scroll from where I am in these scenes where you're seeing like some sort of peaceful nature scene of some sort. I have all my snow series, and I like this one. My snow series and my cabin series, my fire series, my it's like fire as in campfire and fireplace. It's all very controlled and orderly fire. I don't have wildfires. And then I have all of my stuff that has words and formulas and things like that. So here's the 5 kleshas. Not knowing what's real, grasping and clinging to the unreal, being afraid of that thing that is not real, identifying with an imaginary self instead of identifying with your true self, and all of that results in you being afraid of death because you don't know what it is. You think that you're just going to wink out and everything that you have ever thought or wanted, and it was just going to disappear. Boom. Well, it all depends. If you are thinking primarily thoughts, let's do this one. I like this one. If you are primarily thinking thoughts that are of only a very specific to you nature, that nobody or nothing, your larger self, is not interested in, then there won't be much of you to go with you when you pass. You won't have created much that will pass with you. The only thing that's going to pass with you is the part that's who you really are. This continuum of interest in the isness of what's around you. And so I also believe that it is all connected through a force that feels like gravity is also could be described of as love. This force that pulls us all together. Hold on one second. So I think it's time to circle back around just a little bit, and let's re-ask the question, who am I? And we're going to re-ask a question about what's the purpose of this inquiry. And from where do I believe all this hopey stuff is coming from? Hopey, changey, stuff. How's that working for you? All that hopey, changey stuff. The only way the hope and change is going to happen is when we understand who we really are. Because the implications to that physical understanding of who we really are, we are extensions of source energy. Exactly like Abraham says. But what it is it's the extension of space-time into the field. So imagine, look around you at all that you see as the physical world around you, all the objects in your immediate vicinity. You can even cast your gaze or your thoughts, to the planet itself, and then look up and either see the sky, the stars, or the sun, or the moon, or something, and you start imagining the bigger frame, the whole thing that's happening. What is that, and how does it work? What is the physics of this physical universe? Well, this is what it is. So imagine it this way. Imagine the whole thing as a roiling, the entire universe, go the whole entire universe, and this whole roiling field of Planck's, the Dirac sea, that 0 point energy out there that is assumed to be stochastic, as in it all cancels out to the random function. And that's basically how conventional physics views that. They know about that, but they don't think that it matters. They think it all just cancels out. And I'll tell you, it does and it doesn't. Where it cancels out, you see space. And where it doesn't cancel out, where it organizes into spin in a region of the field, what it looks like to you is matter. That's what it is, but it's all one thing. It's this Planck field spinning into coherence, spinning itself into reality, and there's like practically an infinite capability of spinning from this field, spinning it into materiality. When it spins, matter pops out of it, and energy pops out of it, and you can affect a region of the field into coherence and cause a huge abundance of energy to spill right out of this field. Now, I know that a lot of conventional people, they believe that free, clean energy is not possible. They think that it is, there's a lot of shit out there on the internet, on YouTube and everywhere else where, people are screaming. They're trying to debunk others who are trying to say free, clean energy is possible. And they're saying, no, it can't be possible because it violates the laws of physics. Well, they don't understand the laws of physics. And quite frankly, our conventional commercial physicists have not understood it fully either. There's aspects that they have understood, and they've been able to use the mathematics of what they have understood to do some pretty crazy, brought us the whole 20th century and the first quarter of the 21st century, which is basically a refinement on the 20th century, nothing new yet. Until now. This is new. This is a new, fresh, fuller understanding of the way this universe is creating itself, understanding itself, relating to itself, learning about itself, all of that kind of stuff. It's really crazy cool. And instead of arguing from the outside by looking at what everybody else is doing about quit arguing about what people are capable of or likely to do or possible to do by looking at what other people are or are not doing. Simply turn inwards yourself. Turn inwards and start looking around in there. You will be amazed at what you find. And then from a new vantage point from inside of yourself, now when you cast your gaze back out to the outside world, you go, oh my gosh, in a kind of a V8 sort of a, forehead slap, and you look at the world around you and you go, I get it. I get it. My job is not to push back against everything. Again, first of all, it's all fine. Everyone has an inner being. Everyone has an inner being that is trying to advise them. And so work with that structure. Don't and no other way. Don't try to come at people to realign them from any other position than your own alignment. If it throws you out of alignment to try to get them to get into their alignment, then stop it. Stop it. You're not helping anything. You are not helping anything unless you can stay in alignment while you are still addressing the fact that they are not in theirs. If you can't stay in yours, then you're not helping the coherence of the field. You are assisting the chaos of the field. Chaos with a capital K. So, like I said, I want this body of work to be looked at more like a scholarly body of work than as um, a popularity contest and a contest about my ability to get, to get eyes on my work on the internet. No, somebody else someday, and perhaps even me someday when I quit doing the content. I don't know. I want to be this content. I want to be this understanding that I speak of in this hour that I work. I realize it sort of puts me in a visionary position, which is an uncomfortable position. Because it's a position where you can see the frame where what's coming is coming. But a lot of the rest of the people around you can't see it yet, so they're still in the position where they're arguing with you about it. They think it's valid still to argue about whether it's possible or not to pull energy out of the 0 point energy field. You certainly can. You can take a tiny little atom and split it and blow up Hiroshima. How can they not say that there is not the potential of all the energy you could possibly ever need to use in the structure of the vacuum? Of course there is. Of course you can pull it out. You can extract it in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of interesting and varying ways that people have used to build devices that just produce an energy field that you can plug into to run your equipment. It's really not as impossible as those who would like you to continue to believe that it's impossible would like you to believe. It's not as hard. There's a lot of ways to do it. There are frequencies out there in outer space, steady state frequencies that you can build a device that you can tune into these certain steady state frequencies, and riding on these frequencies, it puts out amperage that you could plug into. Or voltage, or whatever the word is, I'm not a technician. I am a visionary, and I can see how this all fits together. It really does all fit together. There is a place where all things fit together, because the one thing you're looking at is one thing. It's one thing. It's not all disjointed and disconnected. So every fact, every frequency, every thought, everything that has ever come to you fits into an allness picture in a particular order. Now, from where I'm standing and connected to Source, that order looks like one thing. From where you're standing, when you are plugged into Source, the order comes at you slightly differently. And this is well and good that it should be so. It's like I've got the whole Lego set, and the proper order from where I stand is different than I'm air quoting the word proper order from where you stand. And the only way you can call the order, and I'm saying literal order, because all the things that you have ever thought of, they may be coming to you. It's not that you're wrong about them, it's that you're not lined up, so they're not coming to you in the right order, so you're not able to act on them one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, in a flowing, easy, orderly kind of way. You're banging around in life in way more chaotic of a way, bouncing, and you're dealing with contrast and negative emotions and things that you don't want to be. You want to be standing in a more stable place, feeling more secure with a better, clearer view of what's around you and what's the reason for all of it, and where you're going and what's happening and all of that. You want that. We all want that. And then ultimately we want to use all of this to flow our experience into, playful, more beautiful, more charming, more more satisfying experiences. Now, sometimes what is satisfying is to take the disorder and flow the order into it. And oh, doesn't that feel good? It's all about the order. Everything is about the order. And your alignment is about your ability to order your own life in the proper sequence, And the way you can tell what the right sequence is of what you should be doing is, in any given moment, do the thing that feels the best to you, that has the slightest bit more interest, more desire, more excitement, more bliss, more where is that pull? Where do you feel that energy frequency pull that's saying, I want to do this? Your physical brain might be stamping those impulses down. So now you're listening for really quiet ones because you've been stamping down the big ones through your conservatism or your caution, your whatever. And so you may be one of those people that you don't even know where your bliss is. But just, wherever you're sitting, just kind of think about what do you want to do next? What do you want to do? Now, some people have got their lives way far apart. Way far apart. And what they feel like they have to do, what they feel like they should do, is different than what they feel like they want to do. Now, you got to get those two things, what you have to do, what you should do, and what you want to do. You got to figure out how to bring all of that into, converge those 3 points, those 2 points. I don't know if that was 2 or 3 points. What you have to do is the same as what you should do. And what you want to do. If you can get those in the same place, if what you need to do is what you want to do, you are golden. And you're also very blessed in this world because most people are not. They don't feel like they can do that. But you know what? These days, if you will open up to the reality around you, it really has... it's become quite a bit better in the number of decades since I was younger. When I was younger, the things that you needed to do in order to get by were much more rigid. They were much more defined. You were going to be certain roles. A doctor or a nurse or a teacher or a fireman or, and the pathway to these things was college and or parents' connections, or I don't know. But there weren't nearly as many choices, and you found that if you were going to contribute to the mainstream of humanity and for your efforts collect the salary recompense so that you could afford to take care of your family, pay the rent, go to the grocery store, there were a limited number of things that you could do. These days, there's a lot more. There's a lot more opportunity to do what you want to do. Now, if it's along certain lines of things and a lot of other people want to do it too, like say if what you want to do is be, well, you need to be good at it. That's what I was going to say. You need to be good at it, and you will be good at it if it truly is what you want to do. These days, you can just draw attention to yourself and make money. You can do that. And the way you do that is you get an audience looking your way. Start a religion over here. I could take this material that I've got and I could start a religion with it. But the thing is that the ultimate truth of this particular material that I have, because I am searching for what is actually the truth with a capital T, what I find is that in order to you can't misuse this material and get the power out of it. It really is a non-resistant flow. I'm pushing back against nothing. I'm advising no specific thing. I actually want no organization to directly flow from what it is that I'm doing, except for in small ways. Like I wouldn't be averse to a bake shop. It's that same sort of spirit. But I don't want to be the center of any sort of organized religion. But I would like this understanding to be at the center of all of you all's organized religions. This greater understanding of who we are and who we collectively are, who we individually are, who we mathematically are, who we energetically are, who we are as our wholeness, our allness, and our smallness. Because it's all relevant. We are a flow of information. The whole field is a flow of information. So it's really important what you are feeding the field immediately around you. So the field immediately around me, I'm trying to feed with this information about who we are, so that we can become utterly self-aware. So that then we can use this information to go have fun with each other. Let's go have fun with each other. Let's quit doing stupid things. I hang with people who are all ex-military or current military. Or maybe they used to be literally in the military themselves. Now they're just military adjacent because they work with some sort of contractor that now works with the Air Force or the Space Force, doing exactly what they used to do on the other side, but now they just do it from the side of Raytheon or Orbital or TRW or one of the contracting companies, or one of the smaller ones like AT Squared or whatever. But they are all adjacent to an enterprise right now that has us all harnessed in, and it does not understand these things that I am saying about who we really are. Who we really are is the good part in the center. And that bad part on the outside that we're being, that we want to punish each other into stopping your bad behavior, we've got to understand what that part is first. Own it in ourselves. And understand that it's not a question of, I'm me stamping out the Hitler in you. It's us all understanding the Hitler in all of us and learning how to look past it, look at it, but past it. So you're seeing it in your peripheral vision. You're seeing who they really are through the center of your focus. And through that way, you're going to help bring them back. Now, I know that sounds so pie in the sky. I don't think that this full realization for humanity is quite here yet. Maybe another 10, 20 years. The way it's going to come about is we're going to get free, clean energy for everybody, and there will be a literal energetic shot in the arm. Well, not a literal shot in the arm, but a literal energy boost that humanity is going to get. They're going to get a big energy bump as soon as we realize that free, clean energy is possible. It's possible. It's possible. Sing it from the rooftops. Extra, extra, read all about it. Free, clean energy is possible, people. It is possible. It is possible. Did I say it was possible? Absolutely is possible. You just got to understand how this field works. What is this one I call Zen? Oh, I know what it is. This background I call Zen. These backgrounds, they are meaningless. They are peaceful montages for myself. They aren't a montage. It's just a peaceful background, so that I'm not distracted by specifics as I do this non-resistant hour, give or take, long rant in the pure positive. It's probably about, it's just after 7 a.m. And I'm coming up on an hour, but I'm not there yet. The reason I don't go on and on and on and on and on, and I could, and one of these days I am going to do I'm going to do a marathon, but I have to be careful and hand myself this stuff in doses. Because I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with this information. I can't go out and force this information on the world. I truly can't. You want to, when you're out of alignment, that kind of information, you can try to force it on the world. But this kind of information, you can't force it on the world. You have to present it somehow in some sort of delicious way so that they will, and usually in prose they have a hard time taking it. That's why poets do what they do. That's why musicians do what they do. That's why bards, and they sing this. But like I said earlier, half of me is a math teacher who wants to teach this stuff as a matter-of-fact kind of a thing. You are a binary system, by the way, people. You are a binary system, and that system is comprised of two specific components. And the one component you're vaguely familiar with, it's your physical body component, your physical self. It was born at a certain time. It was a baby when it was born. It's been going through a metamorphosis the whole entire time. You are not the same person that you were 5 minutes ago, 5 days ago, 5 years ago, 5 decades ago. You are not the same person. Every moment you are evolving. You are changing with the field around you. You are doing this. That's the one part that you are. The other part, you may not know about this self. You do know about it, and you may know about it in different kinds of ways. You hear about it in religion. You've got your ideas about the Spirit, about Jesus, about God, about the Trinity, about heaven and hell and the devil. Your religion has taught you the structure of all that and the meaning of all that, and whatever religion you have decided to identify with. So if you are not with the religion you were born and raised with, and some of us aren't, I am actually not with any religion. I'm not against religion. As a matter of fact, I see the benefit of all religion. I see every religion as sort of like a lens on the allness, trying to make sense of the big picture that you're looking at. And that big picture could be seen analogously, whatever, as that the elephant of the blind men and the elephant metaphor, or fable, or tale, whatever that story is, where you got all the blind men standing at different points of the elephant, trying to say, the elephant looks like this. No, the elephant looks like this. No, the elephant looks like this. And every one of them, in a way, is correct. But the way they ultimately become correct is they all add their stories up. And so, I don't care if you really like your religion, you've got to know that other people are standing at different points of the same elephant, and they are not wrong. And if you really want to know that elephant, you got to add us all up. Now, you don't really have to do that because your inner being is already in touch with the place where we all intersect. And so all you really have to do is get in touch with your inner being, your vibrational inner countenance, your vibrational inner continuum, that aspect of you that is the flow. You are the flow. There is a place where that flow is flowing. Where is that? That's where you are. That's who you are. And now you are this physical self too, and you are your physical brain, and all of the things that your physical brain has been thinking about. It's brilliant, it's genius, it's interesting. But what you have to understand is that your greater mind knows more. And so if you're going to have an argument, you need to concede to your greater self. And how do you do that? Know that your greater self never feels negative emotion. And that's how you know. That's how you know. If you are in negative emotion, it means you're backwards to your real self. And so that's a puzzle. It's a cryptic puzzle. I'm backwards to myself. What the hell does that mean? I'm looking out on this physical world, and that condition I do not like. Well, that's your problem. You can't be conditional. You've got to untrain yourself from being conditional. And then, once you are not conditional anymore, now you can care about the conditions, but not if you're conditional. If you have to have the condition be that in order for you to feel good, then you're stuck and you're screwed. You're in a state of attachment, and you've got a problem. You've got a and nothing is going to flow well for you until you address that problem. And as soon as that problem is fixed, then you don't have any problem. Now you don't have to be conditional. Being conditional is not the way you suss the world and make it better. Understanding who you really are is how you suss the world and make it better. Care about how you feel, because you matter. We all matter. And when each and every one of us cares about how I feel, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. But that love of yourself is contained in a greater frame where you understand that the whole world is yourself. Now you're big enough, you can love the whole thing. Now you harm none. You're always following the right impulses to put your ideas or agreement or alliance or whatever with all the right flowing intention and organization that is flowing with the whole rest of it, creating abundance and joy and fun and all of that for all of us. Safety, all of the things that we want. Comfort, good food, joyful, fun things to do, play, love, family, adventure, exploration, peace. Just peaceful, lazy afternoons in a beautiful orchard, bursting with apples, near a flowing stream of beautiful, clear water, jumping with trout. An eagle flies overhead. You have a cabin nearby that has every single thing you need. All of your technology is plugged right into source energy, so your cabin is not sullied by roads or wires or the infrastructure that tears up the beautiful, you know, beautiful, beautiful. The visions that we could have, the world that we could make when we understand that free, clean energy is possible and gravity control, we are right there. As a matter of fact, you might talk about, I believe that there are individuals on the planet already who don't necessarily have everyone's um, best interests at heart, may have already cracked the gravity code. Now, based on what I have always already been saying about how you have to stay in alignment when you're addressing anything, if you're going to be truly an uplifting element to the field, don't worry about that. Just let's crack it ourselves. As soon as it is out there, then the black ops will no longer be able to just hog this information to themselves. And I don't know what this black ops really is. The black ops may not be as black as I'm thinking. You know, there may well be some good intention to keeping free, clean energy away from us for the moment, because our consciousness about the whole thing needs to rise. We need to understand not only that free, clean energy is possible, but why it's possible. Why it's possible because of how we are designed, because of how this matrix is designed. This source energy, space-time, Planck field spinning into coherence, causing matter to spill out of it, and energy to spill out of it, and coherence. Cause a bit of coherence in the field, and watch what happens. So I'm well past an hour. That means I need to get off the horn. Remember, this is a scholarly work. If you feel sorry for me because nobody's listening to me, please do not. If you are my brother and you feel sorry for me, please do not. I love you. I love you so much, and I'm grateful if you're still listening to me. Please keep listening to me. But I do this work for other reasons than to be some sort of a direct internet. I'm not, I can't present myself on the internet that way. I've tried. It sort of silences my voice. When I start doing that, I start preening for the camera, and I'm not as authentic as I really want to be. I don't get down to the nitty gritty of this rigorous intellectual discussion and exploration that my Who Am I show really is. And if the algorithm of the universe brings you to me, then I am humbled and grateful, and you must be very, very special, and I appreciate you. And I'm going to continue to feed my corner of the field this information, because this is the world I want to live in. This one, the one where free, clean energy and gravity control, and we can do replicator technology. We can pull material. We can pull products directly out of the field and then just go live our lives. Just do what we want. If our rent is paid and our bellies are full and my body is safe, I can sit around and dream about the possibilities all I want, you know? I can dream up the most amazing theme parks or the most amazing new ideas for materials to make homes out of, or the most amazing new ways to organize, whatever. There's so many wonderful things that we can do. And when we get into alignment and start, all of the ideas about these incredible possibilities start spilling out, that's the world I want to live in. So I don't care if the world around me is not that world. I will be a dreamer. I will be a visionary. And it's kind of ironic because part of me is losing my eyesight. But I also believe that if I keep following this track, my eyesight may come back. And if I end up with amazing eyesight and I'm slender and getting younger every day and living a happy life full of energy and what I want to do, then you will start paying attention to me. Right now, I'm actually pretty happy, but my life is quite quiet. And the organizational structure that I've pulled together is pretty minimal. You know, I'm flowing with the organization around me, trying to figure out exactly how the universe works. And I'm on it. I'm on it. And as such, I need to go get to it. It is 2 days before Christmas. There are things to do, and food to be cooked, and people to be hugged. And until tomorrow or the next day, I don't know. Christmas morning, I will not come in and do this. Christmas Eve morning, I might. So, but until next time, do your best. Stay out of trouble. Follow the advice of your inner being, which means pay attention to how you feel. If things feel bad, veer away. When things feel, I'm talking emotionally, not necessarily sensually. I'm talking about your emotions, your thoughts. How do your thoughts feel emotionally? Do they feel good? Keep thinking them. They feel bad? Spit them out. Try something else. And until tomorrow, or whenever it is, God bless, and may the source be with you.